Hello lovely humans, it's Lou here for Simply Crochet Magazine, and in today's video we're going to be diving into the Hook and Learn project in association with Scapier's Yarn. Over 13 issues we're going to be giving you a different part of the pattern, a different stitch, different technique that you can use to create one big beautiful sampler blanket. The beauty of this project is that it will be provided to you using two slightly different patterns each issue. That way, if you want a chunkier blanket, you can use the Stonewash XL, and if you're looking for something a bit more on the lighter side, Scapier's Colour Crafter will be the way forward. For the purposes of demonstration, I will be using the Scapier's Stonewash XL for all of the videos that go along with this project, because it's an Aran weight yarn, it's slightly thicker, and it's slightly more defined in terms of how the stitches look, so it might be a lot easier for people to follow along when they're learning a new technique. If you don't yet have your Scapier's yarn packs, you can get them from the following retailers, and I will also put the links to those retailers in the description box below so that you can click through, grab your pack and really get stuck into the project. If you'd like to join us in a sort of broader community sense, you can do so by joining the Facebook group. I know, we've got a Facebook group. Modern, I know, very, very modern, very very technology. Myself and a couple of other members of the Simply Crochet team will be part of the group in case you do have any issues, any problems. If you're struggling with a particular aspect of the pattern, then please just ask. We will be in there and we will be on call when you need us, because, you know, I've got a 1-year-old, so I don't get any sleep anyway. So without further ado, let's do this thing. So in today's video we are going to be looking at issue 68, which is the block stitch part of this fabulous pattern by the lovely Lucy Croft. Now I've got this swatch here for you guys just to get a bit of a visual on what this is supposed to look like. Block stitch looks very much like it sounds. It is made up of a series of blocks, and then we have these lovely little peekaboo bits as well in alternating rows. So for this pattern we are going to be using Scapier's Stonewash XL. We're going to be using Larimar and Rhodochrosite. Larimar is a lovely seafoam blue and Rhodochrosite is almost this squishy salmon colour. We'll be using a 5.5mm hook, and for those of you in the US that is an I or a 9. So with the block stitch, when we come to our pink rows, we'll be working into these spaces. These are sort of 2 chain spaces from the peekaboo rows. Now what we're going to do into these spaces is we're going to work 3 treble crochet stitches. Now you will have your copy of the pattern in your issue 68 of Simply Crochet Magazine, but for the purposes of demonstration I thought it would be very helpful for you to have a little bit of a visual guide. So once we've done our 3 treble crochets, we are not going to chain anything, we are literally just going to work straight into that next gap, ignoring the double crochet from the previous round. So we will work 3 treble crochet stitches into that gap, just as we did before. And once again we will do the same thing, and this pattern will carry on for the remainder of that row. So once you get to the last part of this particular row, you are going to do the same thing as you've been doing all along. You're going to work 3 treble crochet stitches into that last gap. And then what you're going to do is you're going to work 1 final treble crochet into the top of the 3 chain from the previous row of pink. You're going to ignore the blue. You are just going to work a treble crochet somewhere into the top of that 3 chain. And then at this point you have finished that row, and you can either use a stitch marker, or you can just pull up a really nice big loop and just leave that there for when you come back to using the row to crochet in the row after next. We are going to stay working into the right side of our work, and we are going to attach Larimar, which is that lovely sort of seafoam blue. So instead of flipping your work over, you are literally just going to go back to the right hand side of what you were working on before. So I like to just sort of tie a knot in it, just a loose sort of knot to keep it in place, but you can attach your new colour however you see fit. Now what you're going to do is you are going to chain one, and this is not going to count as your first stitch. What will count as your first stitch is inserting a double crochet stitch into that same gap. So you're going to chain two, and you're now going to work into the next gap that you see. You're not going to work into the top of the stitch, you are just going to work straight into the gap, and you're going to work a double crochet. And you're then going to repeat this pattern until you get to the very end of the row. Now when you get to the very last part, you are going to put your double crochet into that gap between your final block on the previous row and that 3 chain, and then you are just going to fasten this row off, ready to be sewn in when the project is finished. So as always, thank you so much for coming and spending this time with me. I very much appreciate it because I quite like you. I think you're alright anyway. Can deal with you in small doses. And if you do have any issues with the pattern whatsoever, please get in touch by leaving a comment below. You can send us a message, you can get in touch with us through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. We are everywhere. In the meantime, from myself and the rest of the Simply Crochet team, we love you very much, and we will see you very soon for another video. Bye.